Hello, Goa fans, and welcome to episode 38 of Retro Goa Explorations, my weekly series in which I present a track from the 90s Goa psychedelic trance movement. And this week, mid-October 1995 is where my brain is going, and 1994 as well, for reasons I'll be talking about. But sadly, it is not those times. It is mid-October 2023, and something that's on all of our minds is the horrific attack on our musical scene, on our tribe, on peace-loving people, on people who were celebrating and people who were gathered to enjoy the music that many of us have loved for decades and to express joy, hope, and optimism. So I debated whether I would do an episode this week, and I think it's important to acknowledge and pay attention to what's happened to honor those who gave so much energy to our movement, who are now no longer with us, and to look back on something really that is so related to this week for me and just the whole energy of this scene. So just to begin today, just going to light a candle for those who we've lost, and also for those who are still with us, who are grieving. And to all of us, and may all of our lights shine brightly. So I had another episode planned for this week. I think we all had different things planned for this week than what we're experiencing. And I remembered this particular track, which ties in with the 95-96 season that I've been exploring for the last 10 or more episodes. And it came about, again, by just one of these amazing synchronicities. And, when synchronicities happen, you want to pay attention. So I was talking with Yaniv Gold, as he's known, fabulous fellow who our paths crossed in Japan somehow. We were there for part of the same time. He's a big friend of all of the movers and shakers in the scene. And we were just in touch about the horrors that have just happened in Israel. And he was up late and prepared a video after having done some volunteer work. I'll link this beautiful video in the description on this YouTube page. And it featured this gorgeous track that I remember from Ollie's full moon party that I've talked about. And I looked at the date, and he was right. It was October 9th in Vancouver. It was October 10th in Israel. And that was the date of the party in 1995. It was on sunrise of the morning of October 10th, 1995, when Ollie played this unbelievable track. And the only way that I know that he played this, because I didn't know the track, and I was definitely in full party mode, was that there was a recording, which I think I've mentioned, that somebody recorded with an open mic for part of the party. And I recognized one track from the morning. And so I was able to sort of place that that's when it happened. And what was going on at this time was this unbelievable sunrise where, it was a full moon party overlooking Mount Fuji. And there was at one point 100 birds flying at the snowy peak, and we're all like staring, at this with tears in our eyes. And, it's getting lighter and lighter. And then the sun breaks out from behind Mount Fuji, and it was just like, absolutely incredible. So this track was somewhere in there. And I mean, really, an absolutely perfect track for this. It is Shiva by Indoor, which features Ofer and Avi. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last names. Sorry, guys. that we know you and love you. Fabulous musicians, both of whom are definitely going to be appearing, especially in their individual and collaborative projects in the 96-97 season, when I started to really know their stuff. But so Yaniv put this track for the video, and I was just like, dude, 29 years ago today, same day that this was happening. And then, you know, just given the emotion of what's happening now, and this is created by two long established and still active Israeli artists and all, I wanted to play this track. It's so emotional. It's absolutely brilliant. And, you know, what was interesting was listening on the microphone recording. I mean, you could just hear everything that's going on. You could hear people, you know, just really going for it. But, you know, when I listened to the actual recording, when I got it, you know, it's a little rougher around the edges. Who cares? This is what's really, really important nowadays. Everybody's doing fantastic production now. Oh, the sound is great. Okay, how about the content? You know, the content here is just, I mean, it is just so full of emotion and beauty. It's absolutely exquisite. When listening to, you know, that microphone recording, you don't hear anything that people might say, you know, the engineering. So, you know, I bring this up only to say it's not a criticism. Everybody was doing what they could with what they had. And that's the energy that comes through with this music. And, you know, they were pushing their limits and they were wanting to express something. So all of the emotion in this music and the excitement that the musicians had making it, that comes through. And I think also the hope and optimism that I think for many of us, this scene has embodied really comes through. And I think this is really something that we need to do our best to remember and to keep in what's really a very, very dark time. So I am going to put on the track. We'll listen to it together. And after a few words, I'll close and I'll leave the track playing on its own, and I'll share some photos of the progression of that Fuji sunrise, just so that I hope you can get a little sense of what this track is like in context, and to remember what I think we've all really felt on this beautiful music. Okay, so here we go. Indoors, beautiful track, Shiva. That's the rhythm. Again, we got that Morse code kind of thing. And just like going up a little, there's going to be this non-stop chord change going on, which is just this beautiful oscillation back and forth. And another pattern here, a little bit gnarlier and guttural. So no clear melody here, right? Just, you know, some notes. Melodies and stuff is going to come later. So now we've got the percussion brought in. Gorgeous. Right, notice like a call and answer. That was the call. The answer, and then interesting contrast, right? Because we got that one sort of rougher, more granular voice that I was talking about, but the rest of it is actually really, now that I listen to it again, right? It's got really some beautiful, refined sound to that bass line. Now there's another up and down voice. Again, I've been saying this over and over in the series. We need to bring those back. There's, of course, who was not influenced by hallucinogen, right? There's definite shades of angelic particles going on here. And again, a bit of a call and answer effect, and slight variation at the end. That one drops. Right? So again, like a call and answer. It's really beautiful. Right? And just that repetition. I'm not sure if something else was coming. It's like I wasn't sure. So you just get into that trance-like state. I love that tension right at the top. Percussion. A little bit more floaty. Again, all of the different rhythms. So again, there's kind of this expectation, like you're waiting for something. Ooh, that extra chord there, and now this build up. You know, this whole thing, we're just going between these two chords. And it's not quite resolving, and there's going to be this just huge build-up that comes where, after which, just the explosion that really comes. Gorgeous. Again, just this cyclical, like the shape of that riff and then the beauty of those notes. And how many things happening at the same time, right? And the complexity of this music. And we still go back to this. And now, that chord, that sound. And here comes the voice. Or maybe not. When you least expect it, or at least when I least expect it. Beautiful gating, beautiful voice, like I said, angelic particles inspired, no doubt, but wow, listen to this. And the combination of, I mean, just this beauty, the human voice, like bringing the humanity in with all of this electronica. There's the two voices happening. And this is just like one of the most epic of all build-ups. just all of that breaks, and you're just ecstatic. What a voice and the emotion. Anybody who thinks this is a superficial scene, you know, you listen to music like this, and you cannot be moved. Circular patterns again. And it just goes on, but it's just, you think it can't go higher, and it just keeps going. I don't want it to end, do you? Go back into that up and down. The throaty quality to that voice there. Parts are starting to pull out as it starts to wrap up. And kind of interesting ending here. Whew. Such an emotional track. Definitely a track for this week. You know, showing up synchronistically again through Yaniv's video, the timing with, you know, it being the 29th anniversary, 28th actually, I should say, for that full moon party. This coming week is the 29th anniversary of the first time I heard Ollie, which was mid-October 94. So I mean, you know, impeccable timing, and really you know, Yaniv showed the video to Ofer, who said it's a good thing there's no words in there, because we have no words. That's the kind of week it's been, and I didn't really have many words for a good chunk of that track. And I'm going to leave you now, as I always do, with the full track with really no words, so that you can listen and reflect, and I hope remember why we're all in this musical movement for however long it's been that we have been, and that we hopefully can continue to embody that hope, optimism, love, unity that I think is part of what drew us into these events and this musical world. So again, thinking very deeply of all of our friends who are on the ground there dealing with loss, thinking of all of the ones who have been taken from us. there's too many names, too many pictures. I can't leave anyone out. There's just, I can't comprehend that. So just all of you, we are thinking of you. And may your light continue to shine brightly.